Hey,
I
Joe.
wanted to talk about Devin Singletary. Obviously, Zach was not active once again, and Devin's workload continues to increase. Uh, how much are you focused on and trying to get him going in the running game in general?
Well, we're going to try to do whatever we think we need to do to win. So, whether that's hand the ball off 40 times or throw it a bunch, we don't have a set number, John. We just try to, call plays and execute plays that we think gives us the best chance, and whoever the ball goes to and how that goes to them, that's really doesn't matter to us. We're just trying to move the football and score points.
And to that, I've noticed Devin and the backs in general have been more involved in the passing game. So is the I don't want to say the idea shifted, but it doesn't matter whether it's handing it off or swinging it out of the backfield. But there is, getting him involved in any capacity is all that matters.
Yeah, and if we hand it off, it's pretty easy who it's going to, unless you're running a zone read. In the passing game, there's usually 5 eligible receivers out every given time, unless we're keeping guys in for extra protection. And whoever's open and Josh needs to throw the ball to, that's what we expect out of Josh. And unless you're calling a screen pass and it's going to him for certain, really depends on what they're doing and the decision that Josh needs to make.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Coach Daboll, good afternoon. Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're doing an awesome job, by the way. During the course of the week, we know how frustrating and stressful it could be as an offensive coordinator, just trying to figure out what plays to put in for these guys to go out here and execute. And then, game day comes, and then, they really go out and they execute with everything you draw. How satisfying is that for you as an OC for that to happen on game day?
Yeah, I think it's a group effort. We got a lot of guys that I work with, the position coaches that do a fantastic job. And they do a lot of research on things, and, their hands are all in this too. We're all in this together. And, you credit the players the most. They're the ones out there doing it. So I was happy for those guys that they got a win yesterday and made a few more plays than the team we were playing, and, just try to keep on building.
Now, the first quarter of the season is done. You guys finished the first quarter 4-0. Going into the second quarter, how challenging is it to be consistent at what you guys do best, knowing that teams are going to have book on you now going forward?
Yeah, that's every year, and that's every game. From week to week, it's such a week-to-week league. All the teams are good. All the coaches are good. It's highly, highly competitive. And it starts with practice and preparation in the beginning part of the week. It doesn't guarantee you're going to play well, but it certainly gives you some confidence to be able to go out there and to execute the things you do in practice. Obviously, we've got an extremely challenging opponent this week in Tennessee, undefeated team who's went a far ways last year and are picking up right where they left off. So it's tough every week.
All right. Hey, as long as you remember those 5P, Coach, you'll be okay, man. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Brian. It's Jay with the Buffalo News. How you doing?
Good, Jay. How are you?
Good, thanks. Cole has been on the he was on the injury report leading up to the Rams game. He was a little banged up yesterday, and saw a snap count maybe a little lower than what it would have been. But he's made some really big, tough catches for you. What can you say about the toughness that he's displayed, and maybe just how far that goes with his teammates, that when he's not maybe 100%, he's out there making plays for you guys?
Yeah, he has the respect of everybody in the locker room. Offensively, he's just, he's such a smart player and so instinctive, great security blanket for Josh. And, he's not only physical tough, he's a small guy too. He goes in there and 170 pounds soaking wet. But he's mentally tough too. That slot position is a tough position to play. There's so many things happening, and he's just instinctive. He's tough. He's smart. He's everything you want in a slot receiver.
I bet you remember that Don Beebe play. He came pretty close yesterday to reliving that, didn't he?
Yeah, upended there. Yeah, made a heck of a play, and he's so dependable. I mean, that's the little coverage read, and he's very quarterback friendly. Just a really good teammate.
Last from me, Sean indicated just a couple minutes ago that Cody is probably found a home here at guard for you guys. What have you made of his transition to the inside, and just his comfort level on moving inside and how he's come along?
Yeah, I think he makes improvement each week. He was there on the left side, and Winters went down. So instead of moving two pieces, you just move one and put Q over at the right side. And it's been continual improvement. It's a little bit different inside there. It's you're not on the island all the time. There's some things happening quicker. Communication process between the center and the guard, and then relay it out to the tackle. He makes improvements each week.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Hey, Brian. Thad Brown. Good to see you.
Hey, Thad. How are you?
Good.
Good.
How much concern are the big negative plays with Josh Allen? Obviously, you're 4-0 and the offense is humming, so everything's working. But he had the big sack yesterday, took you out of field goal range, a couple plays the week before. How much a concern is that with this game right now?
Yeah, I got a lot of confidence in Josh. Some of those plays turn into really big plays too. So, he knows that there's certain things that, like we all do, wish we had back. And he just continues to learn from it. And, we go through the tape and we make the corrections. And, I think that was his 32nd game, somewhere around there starting. So, I have a lot of confidence in him that, he'll make the right decision when he needs to make the right decision. And some of the loose plays that he makes, we'll never take those away from him.
Well, you said, a lot of those plays turn into good plays too. Is it possible that maybe going forward with him, that this is the guy he is going to be, and you take the good with the bad, because the good can be so much better than the bad, kind of like a Brett Favre type guy?
Yeah, I think he's continuing. He tries to get better each week with things. It's not like we want to go out there and have bad plays happen. And it's our job to coach him. It's his job to learn from him and correct them. So when he gets into a situation like that again, maybe a better decision. But again, those decisions sometimes that he makes where he scrambles away and looks downfield and makes a play or uses his legs, those are winning plays for a team. And they're tough to defend. So, never going to take that away from him, because that's part of his game. And I have enough trust that he'll do what he needs to do to help his team win.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian. Hope you and the family are doing well. It's been a little while since I've seen you.
Yeah. How you doing?
Doing good. I want to ask, it seems as though with the offense going the way it is, with the distribution, with the involvement of everybody, regardless of where they are on the depth chart, I'm talking about the skill position guys getting their touches. Everything seems kind of high percentage, which leads me to believe that you're feeling it too. This isn't just Josh. You guys are picking your spots. Can you put into words what it's like to be in this space of where everything is just working so well off of each other together? I'm guessing that this is something that this is what you want to achieve as an offensive coordinator, and to be in this pocket through 4 games.
Yeah, we've gotten off to a good start. There's a lot of things, Tim, that when you go back and you look at it, you leave points out on the field, and whether it's a bad call and that you wish you had back, or certainly a play that you wish you executed better. We're trying to get better each week. We got a long way to go. We've gotten off to a fairly fast start. But again, you go out there and you practice and you watch the players perform in practice. It gives you a lot of confidence. And I think those guys get confidence from doing it well in practice. When you go out there in a game, you don't second guess a call or second guess a decision, because you have the confidence that they're going to go out there and operate and execute the way they need to do it, because they do it on a consistent basis. Like the play that that Steph caught, there at the turnover, was a play that we didn't necessarily work the play in practice a bunch, but we worked a route in individual routes. I mean, over and over. And we ran it one time one way, and then we came back and we talked about it and we did it again. And we said, we're going to anticipate this look if we get into this situation. And, we got the right look and we ran it the exact same way. So and then Josh let it go. And then Steph went up there and made a heck of a play and high pointed the ball. And we ran a certain play similar to that, not exactly the same in practice that way. And it almost looked, it was from the other side, but Steph did the same exact thing and Josh threw it at the same spot. And that's a good feeling when you watch some players go out there and do it in practice. It gives you, it's kind of a free feeling to just go ahead and let it rip and call it and be aggressive because, you got a lot of confidence in those guys.
How much is distribution as a goal of yours versus it's just kind of happened that way with the way the games have unfolded?
Yeah. And again, there's progressions in most every play. There's a progression, whether that's just a right to left progression or a coverage read progression. And obviously you move pieces around with the 5 eligibles that you have. But if they're active and they're up, we expect them to be ready to go. And we'll use as many guys as we can use. Those games are taxing games on the players, physically and mentally. So the more guys that you can have to contribute, better off it is. But in terms of just, feeding the ball to one particular guy, that's not really our mantra. And Josh has talked about this, I know, plenty of times. His job is to find the open guy based on what the defense is doing. And throw it there. Now you can move pieces around and make one guy the first read and one guy the second read, but after the ball is snapped and the coverage goes to wherever it goes, then it's up to Josh to get it to the right guy.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hi, Brian. Wanted to build off what you were saying about Cole Beasley there.
Sure.
You mentioned how involved that slot position is in this offense, and I'm wondering what you've noticed about the detail and just the work he puts into paying attention to the small details about route running, because he certainly has a mind for it, but you also can see it show up on the field, especially yesterday.
Sure. I know he's been well coached since he's played in high school and then to the college where he went and obviously played in a passing offense. Played for some really good coaches and then, made his way into the league, as an undrafted free agent that had to find his way in and, 170 pounds and 5 foot, wherever it may be. His instincts and his intelligence, very impressive, very impressive. And you try to, as a coach, you try to learn from coaches on your staff and other guys you work with, but you also try to learn from players. And he's certainly a player that I've taken a lot from, the way he sees the game, particularly inside and having coached the receiver position for many years in the league. He's just he's a good resource. He's a good resource for a lot of the players. He's a good resource for us as coaches too. He's a good player.
And how would you compare Josh's ability to work through the entire progression in a passing concept now compared to when you guys got started, back in 2018?
Yeah, it's improved. It's improved ever since he's been here. Not just that, really everything. And it's a credit to him, the type of person he is, the type of work ethic that he has, and he's always striving to be better. And that's what you love about him.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian. I'm curious, Ken Dorsey's not a guy that's really out there for a lot of people to see. He's not very, vocal. We don't get to hear from him too much. What's been his impact in not only on Josh, but on this offense, helping you out? Just if you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, he's been a great addition for us. Smart, really understands the position, has a good relationship and rapport with the players, good insight. He's, I'm glad he's here. He's a great teammate. just smart. He's smart. We got a lot of smart coaches that work well together. He's certainly one of them. Really good at what he does.
And how, I mean, I think you spoke about it was last week, I think, about how having all of these really good position coaches really helps you out. The synergy there, I mean, is that something that it's kind of like the players in a lot of ways? Does that just improve week to week?
Yeah, I mean, you have to build that. You go through a lot of things in this business, ups and downs, and some good days and some bad days. And you're with these guys heck more than you're with your family during the season. And you got to lean on one another. Not one person has all the answers. That's for certain. And it's a collective effort. It's a group effort, just like it is with the players out there on the field of going out there and executing. It's being part of a team and understanding that, collectively is better than individually. And all these guys, I'm just very lucky to work with the guys that I work with. They do a heck of a job.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, Mike, Catalana.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, I know you scheme to get guys open, but, there's NFL open, and yesterday was a good example of guys making contested catches.
Sure.
And when you see your guys do that in the game, and it seems like week after week, does that impact the way you call a game? And I shouldn't say the way you call a game, what you're looking for or what you tell Josh about those plays? Because you got guys who will go get it, whether they're covered or not.
Yeah, we want to be aggressive, and we want to attack. And the only way to do that is have confidence in the pass catchers. You got it starts up front with giving Josh some time to throw it. But the more you throw and you catch and you're out there in the practice field doing those things, the more confidence that you have. So, sometimes when guys are covered, they're not covered if you have enough confidence in them to give them an opportunity, and then they got to go ahead and do it. For example, the Diggs catch yesterday, or the smoke catch down there on the goal line where it was, a tight window. That's built between player and player, and that starts, whether it's in the off season or in practice. You got to have a lot of trust in that guy that when you let it rip, he's coming down with it or nobody's coming down with it. The worst thing it could be is an incompletion.
Right. And I assume then that Josh's confidence in them as he sees it happen time after time grows, and then you're comfortable with him taking those shots.
Sure. Yeah. He's got the ball in his hand out there, and, you go through with them a detailed plan during the week of some of the goals that we want to try to achieve. Then you got to let these guys play. Can't think a whole lot when you're playing. You got to be instinctive and reactive, and you got to be able to let it fly. You got split seconds to make a decision and have confidence in it. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in your teammates. And if the only way you really can do that is going out there and practice and doing it on a consistent basis. It's easy to call a play if you're out there in practice. You do it a couple times, and everybody understands what we're trying to get done, and that's easy. It's hard to call a play during a game when you do it in practice a few times and it doesn't look real great, and then you go ahead and you do it in the game and it looks the same way in practice. Well, shame on you as a play caller if you do that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's all. Thank you, Dabes.
Thanks, guys. See ya.